Hey guys, Chef Jojo with ECO, and on this episode, we're going to talk about why we always find ourselves in the weeds. And as usual, we're going to discuss this over a shift drink. Well, that's good. Tonight's shift drink is Chronic Ale. It's by Pizza Port Brewing Company down in Carlsbad. And it's their amber ale. Pretty tasty. You know, excuse me, a couple of days ago, I was talking to some chefs and we were getting ready for a meeting and we were getting ready for this event that we put on. And I'm just chatting with one of the guys, and Greg, and he a phenomenal chef, and we were just talking about trying to, manage stuff and how things were going and playing catch up. It's funny, you get to know chefs in short bursts, right? Or at least a lot of, that's how it works for me. And I don't get out as much as I'd like, and we were just kind of like trying to catch up in the 10 minutes that we had. And we were discussing business, and we were talking about ECO and his restaurant and stuff, and, we were chatting, and I looked at, I thought of something, and I was like, I'm really good at being a chef. That's like what I'm good at. I said, but when you start to throw the other stuff into the mix, I start to lose focus. I said, once you start putting that personal, like let's go to a practice or the games, because I was complimenting Greg. He does such a good job of always making sure he's doing stuff with the kids and stuff. And I was like, once you throw that other stuff in, I can't find the balance, and I always feel like once I start focusing on the family and stuff, then when I come back to work, I can't catch up. I always have this feeling that I'm always behind. I'm always weeded, right? And it leads me to this saying, like, proper planning prevents piss poor performance. So the 7 Ps, if you will. I feel like inside the business, we create an environment that makes this situation just repetitive over and over. You're always behind. Hell, as the chef, he's a chef owner, so he's always at the restaurant, right? And, it doesn't matter if you own it or if you work there and you're the chef of the hotel or the restaurant. I think everybody feels like they need to be at work or something's going to go wrong. That's the most interesting thing, like if you want it done right, you have to do it yourself and you can't let go and all of this stuff. And then when you actually do take the time off to go home and do something, all you're doing is thinking about like what's happening at work when I'm not there. Are they doing it right? And is everybody, is the station meets now, are those guys going to make the special right? I showed them how to do it. Did they forget to order the produce? Or, any of that stuff? Did they forget to turn off the ovens or the fryers? And then you're thinking about that while you're with the family or while you're doing whatever you need to do, and you're not really fully participating in that moment with them because you're thinking about work. And then when you come, you come to work and it was either messed up or not, most of the time it's not as perfect as it should have been, right? So then it's like, I knew I shouldn't have, done that. I should have come into work. And then we create this cycle of constantly having to be there. And, the place needs me. A long time ago, I was doing a podcast with Chef Chad Kraling, and he said something about the restaurant. He's like, the restaurant was like the sun, and we kind of revolved around it. We didn't know our schedule. We just kind of made sure the restaurant was okay. And he's like, it was hell on your personal life. You always found yourself like behind. And he's like, when you did get a day off, you're running around trying to pay your bills and get set up for another week. From a balance standpoint, it's tough from a personal life and inside the restaurant. And then when you go inside the restaurant, there's always those people that you always feel like you're behind. We got to start focusing on how we could be more organized, There's a quote by Thomas Keller's cook asked him, how do I be a great chef? And he's like, do you know how to mise en place your station? And the cook says, yes, of course. And he goes, just apply that to everything you do. Everything has its place. Everything has its time. And, we got to create an environment where you're organized. What I find a lot of times in our restaurants, or even, it doesn't matter, in our business, is that if you're really good you put more on your shoulders and you start to carry more and become more responsible for all this other stuff. And we tend to give more to those A players, while the B and C players kind of do less and watch. And then we burn out our A players. You know, Noma, Rene Redzepi, he went on sabbatical for 3 months, our vacation. And I posted an article on Facebook of him talking about it. And the premise was, you know, we constantly are working, constantly trying to be creative, but we work so hard and so long, it gets harder and harder to find the creative juices or find that thing that lifts us up, you know, and you feel really, really drained. It's what everybody complains about that's out of the industry. Well, he decided that he was going to take a 3-month vacation and just be with his family and do some research so he feels like everybody should have this amount of time, and he figured, why not me be the first one to test this hypothesis? Now, one of you guys on Facebook said, why not the sous chefs try first, right? Well, I think that's a valid point. I never looked at it from that perspective, but I thought it was awesome that he was, you know, trying to set the tone. We need to take care of ourselves. I feel like we always find ourselves in these really interesting positions. Like, management believes that the chef should always be there. We feel like we should always be there. But it's the worst thing for us to work 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It leads to burnout. You miss some family stuff. It turns into the situation where you look back and it's not even worth it because you didn't have balance and there was no fulfillment. Without the fulfillment, you're toast, right? And I know that sometimes when I'm at home and I'm trying to get into work, I feel like all this pressure. It's like, oh my gosh, if I hurry up and get to work, I can get this stuff done. And then as soon as I get to work, I feel a lot less stressed because now I can handle it. That's that same feeling I used to get right before the tickets would roll in. Like, did I get everything ready? Did I get everything ready? And then, like, as soon as the tickets had hit, my stress level would drop and I'd be ready, you know, because I did the me's that I needed. I think I need to start focusing on that, you know. Why are we always in the weeds and how can we get out of them, you know? You got to mise en place your life and your station. I don't know, it's my thoughts. I know it's a little bit all over the place, but I think it kind of has to be all over the place because the things that we struggle with in the business is that we love what we do and it takes a lot of time to be good at it and takes a lot of time to be good at anything that you want to do, really. So that give and take. But that feeling of being in the weeds, like when the tickets are stacked up against you and you didn't get enough done and there's no way out, you got to depend on your team. Just be sure that you're not dumping it all on your A players and you're spreading it out evenly. I don't know. That's my thoughts about it. I just would love to think or hear what you think about what I said. Any way that you're getting out of the weeds or you doing the mise en place for your station for your life, let me know in the comments below. You can always subscribe, hit the bell. You'll get notified when we upload these videos. You can follow us on Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat. And as always, I'm Chef Jojo. Until next time, cheers.